Hello, I'm Brian Noble from Family Policy Institute of Washington. A couple disclaimers before we get started today. Nothing in this video should be considered an endorsement of the candidate, nor the candidate's endorsement of FPIW or FPIW action. We simply wanted to provide a service to meet and greet the candidate. Today we have Andrew Van Winkle. Andrew, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me, Brian.
Great to have you on today. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your family.
I'm Spokane native, born and raised, third generation Spokaneite. And I love Spokane with all my life. Growing up here, I wanted nothing to more than to get out of Spokane and get away from here because I thought it was so boring. And I did, got out of here, spent most of a decade out of Spokane, and then I realized, okay, yeah, we've got something good going here. And I was happy to come home after law school, left again for a few years, and then in 2019 I got called back to Spokane again, and here we are. Um, my day job, I work for the Washington State Court of Appeals. So that is the court above the Superior Court where I'm running, but below the Supreme Court. And at the Court of Appeals, I work in-house for the judges there. And the judges there, they review cases from all 20 superior courts east of the Cascades. And we do everything from criminal, civil, family law, land use, zoning, planning, public records, everything. And so for most of my career, I've been working for the Court of Appeals. It's been working on the hard cases, the tough cases, the everything that comes out of Central and Eastern Washington where the law is not clear or it's new law. It comes up to the Court of Appeals, and I have the privilege of advising the judges there on how those cases should be resolved. And for the last 3 years, until July of this year, is also what's called a pro tem in Superior Court. It's like a substitute for the courtroom because lawyers, we have to have a fancy name for everything. And as a pro tem, I presided over hundreds of cases, a couple dozen bench trials. And before all that, I was a prosecutor, and as a prosecutor in a small county in Chelan County. I did everything from traffic tickets to homicide and everything in between. So yeah, over my career, I've seen just a little bit of everything.
Excellent, excellent. If you are elected to this office, what would be a promise or a commitment that you'd like to make to the public?
The biggest promise that I'm making to the public, and I've been making to the public throughout this campaign, is 4 years from now, I should be able to tell you what I have done and what the Superior Court has done to make it easier for people to represent themselves in court. And if 4 years from now I can't answer that question, I should be voted out and I should have an opponent. And I think that's appropriate because it's getting harder and harder for people to represent themselves in court. I'm even hearing now, it's not just about people who have money to hire a lawyer, not have money to hire a lawyer. There's a shortage of lawyers, not just in the state, in this country. And I'm now hearing of lawyers, they're turning away cases from clients. I'm hearing of people who actually do have money, not even being able to get a lawyer because all the lawyers that they talk to are just full. And so we do need more resources to help people represent themselves.
Now, do you have an opponent in this race? I should have looked before the interview. What are some of the differentiations that you have between you and your opponent?
So I'm running against Judge Tim Fennessy. He's the incumbent. He's been there for 8 years. And the biggest thing that differentiates me from him is that I'm actually making a promise to make the court better. Judge Fennessy, we've seen each other a lot on the campaign trail, and he hasn't been able to articulate anything. Not only that, he and his colleagues earlier this year passed a new court rule requiring documents that go straight to the judge to be physical copies, printed copies. And you look around, every single county surrounding Spokane is not doing that. Ferry, Stevens, Pend Oreille, Lincoln, Whitman, they're all poorer counties. They're all counties that have less money than Spokane. And every single one of those counties lets you email those same documents to the judge. And in Spokane, we're going backwards. We're making it harder for people to represent themselves. It's another trip to the courthouse 3 days before your hearing to drop off those documents. It's more money in the parking meter. If you live down in Spangle or Latah, that's a lot of time on the road and a lot of gas. And like I said, if it's a 3 day turnaround for some of these documents, you can't just put it in the mail and let USPS deliver it. So, no, unfortunately, my opponent and some of his colleagues, not all of them, but some of them are actually making it harder for people to come to court and represent themselves.
So we believe in constant learning, and you went through a primary. What are some of the things that you've learned and want to implement as you move forward?
I think the biggest thing that I learned in the primary and that's positively impacting the campaign is just how terrific my wife is. And, you know, we've been married for 12 and a half years, and you think I'd already know that, and I do, but running for office, it puts a different strain on your marriage. It tests your marriage in a different way. And so often you look at the candidates at other events and you see whose spouses are there, who are not, whose families are there supporting them, and who are not. And my wife, God bless her, she's been at almost everything. But not only has she been at almost everything, she's also been one of my greatest advocates. She's inherently a shy person, but everywhere she goes, she speaks up and she lets it be known why she's supporting me, why she's spent this whole year working her tail off to support me in this campaign, and why we're running for this. And it's just amazing to see, a new aspect of my marriage and seeing that the foundation is a solid foundation. And I think that's important because when you go to court, you need a judge who's not worried about what's going on at home. You need a judge that can focus on the problems of the people in front of them. And having my wife as that rock and support is just amazing.
Excellent. Any closing remarks before we end our interview today?
I think I pretty much said it there. I
Awesome.
love my wife and I thank her for all that she's doing to help me out and all that she's done over the years and will continue to do because it's a team effort.
All right. Well, I'm Brian Noble, the CEO of Family Policy Institute of Washington, and we are letting you know that nothing in this video is an endorsement of the candidate nor the candidate's endorsement of FPIW or FPIW action. God bless. Go out there and defend and advance conservative values.